Migrants granted asylum by the Trump administration is making its way to Washington. Thanks for joining us tonight on the news at 11. I'm Larry Miller. CBS News reporting that this group will land in the morning. The Trump administration says that these migrants are escaping race-based discrimination. It's a claim South Africa's government denies. Tonight, dozens of white South Africans are on a flight headed to Dulles International Airport. The plane is expected to land Monday morning. The migrants, known as Afrikaners, are descendants of Dutch colonists. They are the first group of migrants from South Africa granted asylum by the Trump administration. In February, President Trump signed this executive order directing the government to prioritize humanitarian relief, including admission and resettlement of Afrikaners, whom they say are victims of unjust racial discrimination.
Shalom. First, I want to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kadash. Double honors that teaches our lesson, the awesome great millstone, likewise, brothers, put on this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and teeth, brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson's title, Esau's Head Games. Now, we know Esau is the Edomite, the so-called white man, and he's playing a lot of head games, okay? But as part of the hopefully lack, we have that eyes, and the wisdom to see through all of Esau's tricks, that he's bringing forward, okay? Now, we're going to go to a couple of videos today, and it's related to what's taking place right now, and basically currently, okay, here in Great Babylon, America, concerning the first arrival of these Edomites from South Africa, okay? And, it's not a coincidence that, they happen to arrive on the same day that Trump announced that, the United States and China have made a tariff deal. And you can see how the stock market is rallying behind this news, so there's kind of a sort of a feel-good spirit amongst the people that are, still holding on to something here in Great Babylon, America. But we know there's a deeper and sinister plot, and you're going to see how what Trump is doing with these Edomites from South Africa who are supposedly being oppressed, okay, by the ruling regime over there, who happens to be so-called black men, okay, how this is going to tie in with what took place during the Biden administration, where he allowed an influx of these other tribes, in particular from the Northern Kingdom here in the Great Babylon, America. And we can see what the end results of that is for those people, okay? So let me play this clip.
What you have accomplished over the years, and I am sure that you will be successful. It's, as you know, a lot of you I think are farmers, right? When you have quality seeds, you can put them in foreign soil and they will blossom, they will bloom. And we are excited to welcome you here to our country, where we think you will bloom, and we will hopefully allow you to have fulfilling lives for your children, and then we will bloom and we will benefit alongside you. Through this resettlement program for these folks who were vetted in South Africa, and we're sending a clear message that the United States really rejects the egregious persecution of people on the basis of race in South Africa, and we welcome these people to the United States and to a new future.
And as you saw in that clip, I mean, these people are really, really pompous, okay? This is the book of Job, 20 down, verse 20 reads, "Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphant of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he?" And everything that comes from the so-called white man out is complete and utter bullshit and very hypocritical, okay? Very hypocritical. So he's referring to these people as what? Farmers. They're not farmers. If they were farmers, they would be farmers in South Africa. People who are typically attracted to the Great Babylon, America, are losers in their country. Many of these countries have very wealthy people. They don't come to America, they'll visit it. but they don't come as asylum seekers, okay? So these people don't bring any type of skill that the United States leave. When he's talking about farm, if he's trying to, relate that to agriculture here in Great Babylon, America, but you're getting rid of the true farmers, which are, okay, the tribes from the Northern Kingdom who are picking the fruits, growing the fruits and vegetables and all sort of items that we use, to eat, to sustain life here in Great Babylon, America. You're shipping them over back to their nation, and you're bringing these people over. And look at these people. Do these people look like they're fit for work? I mean, look at this hillbilly guy right there, man. I mean, come on, take a look at this. But this is the Edomites boasting right now because they're trying to set themselves up and trying to put this type of spirit into the remaining loyal Edomites here in Great Babylon, America. Okay, that they have been oppressed, that there's reverse discrimination, that there's a nation that has Negroes in it that are oppressing people that look like them, and we're bringing them over here in America for safety, and they're going to add value. I mean, you get to see the comments on the comment board, okay, from these videos. These people are really that deceived, okay? Let's go into the book of Isaiah 19, starting with verse 1. Because as I said earlier, this is a paradox, okay? Which is, when you go and look at the word paradox, it means a paradox is a statement or situation that appears contradictory or illogical on the surface, but upon close examination may reveal a deeper truth or a complex relationship. And this is what I'm talking about, through the spirit of me doing this, as I was watching several of these videos, and looking at and thinking back, of during the Biden administration, how he was sort of saying the exact same thing. He was telling the news feed or the spirit on the world that the so-called black man, he was deeply oppressed and murdered and a victim to white supremacy. Now we're seeing in the Trump administration, the tone is different. There's now a tone of the so-called white people are now being oppressed, okay, under black supremacy, which makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so let's go back into Isaiah 19 and start verse 1. Reads the burden of Egypt, which we know this place is known as spiritual Sodom in Egypt. Behold, the Lord Yahweh shall ride upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Why is that going to happen? Because we've seen it happening right now. Okay, you have a situation here in Great Babylon, America, of winners and losers, with more losers than winners, and a lot of people right now, pretty much about one paycheck away from joining, the multitude of losers here in Great Babylon, America. And rather than focusing on the situation that's here, okay, the trouble that's taking place here in Great Babylon, America, okay, the powers to be are continuously, basically, like the sleight of the hand, having people distracted with other different things, okay? So when you see in this rally that's going on in the stock market, and you see the tariff trade, because they'll put that, the fear in people of empty shelves already, and then suddenly now, oh, well, maybe there won't be empty shelves because we now have 90 days, so they're pushing it out. What people don't realize is that you have the men of the Lord that constantly praise Yahweh for the destruction of this place. And the Lord is doing it, but before he completely and utterly destroy this place, he will have the elect sealed. Okay, there are going to be many that's going to wake up, okay, out of the delusion of Great Babylon, America. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. Now you would ask yourself, okay, why is that going to happen? Why would the Egyptians, the Babylonians start fighting against each other, okay, or the so-called Americans? Okay, and really, this is really are going to be these Edomites, these so-called white people who are going to be doing this, okay? Because there's other videos out there, and if I don't include it in this later, you bring it up a little bit later in another, continuing episode of what we see taking place here with concerning this matter here, okay, where these Edomites are looking, going, well, these are not asylum seekers. These are not people that are being oppressed or depressed. In the meantime, this man is getting rid of people or blocking the entrance of people who are truly in war-torn places where there's massive starvation or whatever cases like that. No, these are the descendants of people, okay, or imperialists that had a set of people over there in Africa, okay, under something known as apartheid, in which they basically, as the least of the population, they only make up about 7% of the population, yet control 99% of the wealth. And all of a sudden now they're a victim, because what you have right now is a so-called black government, but in reality the wealth is still, okay, in the hands of the European, okay, that settled down there in South Africa. Okay, and they're not telling you that story. In fact, the president of South Africa came and said that Trump is speaking lies. He's not telling the whole story. Okay, he's just fabricating things, which is what the so-called white man does. He fabricates lies. He makes up things. Okay, now the rest of the world is never going to understand that, which is going to frustrate them. It's frustrate them even more. Okay, when you continue on, it says, "And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols and to the charms and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizard." This is the reason why you're going to see people going to really lose their mind here, with the exception of those of us who are in the know. How are we in the know? Because Yahweh Shemashai revealed to us exactly what he is bringing to. That's why it opened up and it says, "The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, ride upon his swift cloud and shall come into Egypt." This is the Lord bringing this. Okay, the Most High Yahweh Shemashai bringing this. And so he's revealed this to us. This is what's going to take place. So we're not going to be freaking out when it happens. We know where this is going to go, okay? And you will, when I bring this together, Lord willing, I don't make this lesson too long, but there's a way I'm trying to I'm connecting this together with the Biden administration, the Trump administration, with these people coming here, and when Biden bought Jake, and what this is going to bring about, okay? "And the Egyptians will I give into the hands of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashai." So we know Lord of hosts, okay, is man of war. Yahweh Shemashai is not some gentle power, okay, that has respect of person. But let's take a look at that word cruel, okay, in the online etymology dictionary, and it means inclined or willing to make another suffer, disposed to inflict suffering, mental or physical, on any sentient being. So that's why I named this lesson, okay, Esau's head games, because he plays these games in which, okay, it is a yo-yo effect. Okay, so you have this emotion. You don't know whether you're going to have a job or you're not going to have a job, whether you're going to eat or you're not going to eat, whether it's going to be danger or there's not going to be danger, whether you're going to get thrown in some FEMA camp or you're not going to be thrown in some FEMA camp. What the hell is going on? Okay, the hopefully lack us men that the Lord chose out of darkness, we know what's going on. This does not apply to us. We know who's cruel. Okay, but to the rest of these people, this is what they're experiencing, is a head game, and a lot of our people are a part of this large multitude of people that is deceived by this doggone devil. Let's go into Jeremiah 5 and start with verse 20 before we look into a little bit more clips here. Okay, and it reads, "Declare this in the house of Jacob, 12 tribe of Israel, and publish it to Judah, saying, Hear now this, O foolish people," you know, you're trusting in great Babylon, America, and the so-called white man, "and without understanding, which have eyes, and see not, which have ear, and hear not. Fear ye not me, said the Lord Yahweh Shemashai," because you have that fear of the so-called white man. You want to please him. You want to be a good little Negro, okay, a good little Latino, Hispanic, okay, a good little Native American. You want to please him. You want to be a part of this system, and you will do whatever it takes, okay? "Will you not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree that it cannot pass it?" The Lord have his men here on this earth that are declaring what he has done, what he intends to do, and what he is currently doing. Okay, we're doing it. We're the one that's preaching. Okay, we're the mouthpiece of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai. Of course, we're in a low state, so of course nobody's listening, and that's exactly how the Lord wants it to be. "And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it." So in the meantime, while they sit, you know, in their little dark dungeons or their little littered room there, molesting animals or little kids, you know, plotting on the next scene, okay, they're right now giving the people here in Great Babylon, America, on this earth, as you can see, the impact of that tariff on this entire earth, okay, was dramatic for these people. All right, they're plotting the next move that's going to be even more devastating. Okay, it says, and though the ways thereof toss himself, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. So there's a certain time, a certain year, okay, that Esau will be brought down. That the Mashiach will tear open that sky, okay, and those chariots will come down, collect the elect off earth, okay, and then the chariots will proceed to go and make war, okay, with the nations on this earth, who's going to be led by Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man. Now, let's take a look at these things here on how this is working. Okay, this paradox is working with the Biden administration and Trump. But before we do that, let's read Ecclesiasticus 14 and verse 5. It reads, "He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his good. There is none worse than he that envied himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And if he do it good, he do it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness." Now, let's take a look at this. So, rolling it back, you saw the arrival of these Edomites here. Okay, they're supposed to be oppressed and depressed, you know, in South Africa under the regime of Negroes. Okay, and you know, of course, that's got every, you know, red belly Edomite over here just, you know, pissed off, you know, pissed the hell off. Okay, but of course, you still have a lot of Edomites who absolutely hate, okay, the South Africans, okay, the Edomite South Africans, because they're looking at, they know that Elon Musk is a South African. And what did Elon Musk do with his Doge agenda? He cost the livelihood of many Edomites. Okay, and we put up many videos concerning how they started to burn down these Tesla factory and cars and vandalizing them in the stock, you know, plunge, you know, of his company Tesla, and they absolutely hate him. So these people think that they're coming into a welcoming party, and this suit welcoming them, okay, isn't painting the big picture. Now we know this is all part of a little sketch, a little dramatic, a little simulation, what they're doing, okay. But let's take a look at what's going on in America. Homelessness on a scale. Now you will see homeless. You can say, well, yeah, everybody's homeless. Look, this is not about the so-called Latinos and black being homeless, okay. That's obvious. It's going to be even more, okay, because we have Jacob's trouble that's coming. That's going to be on a scale that's incomprehensible, and it is going to be beyond homelessness. It's going to be a persecution and all kinds of things associated with that. Okay, so let's take out the so-called blacks and Latinos and Native Americans out of the equation, yeah, or even these other nations, and just let's look at the Edomites, because in reality, this is the kingdom of the Edomites. So in reality, who should be on top? Who should be living in nice houses and have the great jobs, or even have servants? Why have jobs? Who should not be on the streets on being drug addicts and, you know, homelessness and just in complete and utter despair? The Edomites, but yet still here they are. So rather than this man focusing on taking care of his people here, he's bringing in these set of people, which he will put into hotels. Now, he's going to put them in the hotels, protect them, give them money. They're supposed to be an asset, which means when he's open up in that clip, in that clip that I open up with, when he's talk about them being farmers and that they're going to be an asset and be successful here, what he's telling them is the same type of propaganda or lies that Biden told, okay, the so-called migrants, okay, who are the Jakes coming from the South American countries here, where they put them up in hotels, and you saw all kinds of news feed where they were getting, you know, vouchers or cards or for $5,000 and put up in hotel rooms and, you know, given medicine and free education and how to learn and lessons on how to speak, learn how to speak English. And they were supposed to be integrated into society. What has happened since then? We see the largest persecution going on right now with these ICE agents raiding and kicking doggone doors and grabbing and scooping up Jakes them off the street. In fact, they're scooping up Jakes who've been here most of their life or all their life and putting them on planes and shipping them overseas, okay, to Mexico, El Salvador, Honduras, and any other country that they have some type of deal with, they're sending them away. So same promises. Remember, right wing, left wing. Okay, it's attached to the same bird. Okay, same bird. Remember, this is the dragon. Okay, that with the two horns. This is the lamb with the two horns that speak like a dragon. Okay, so we know the so-called white man can never be trusted. So here it is. This is what Biden, they had promised all of this. Same thing how this man did. Trump is promising these so-called Africans, Edomite Africans. Okay, he promised them what? Success here, and they're going to integrate and do all these things. And what ended up happening? The blame game started to go out. The crimes are starting to rise. Everybody started to hate her. How the hell? I'm an American citizen, and I've been here all my life, and I'm not getting any type of benefits like this. So you had the Latinos who were here, okay, before the ones that came across the border, complaining and hated the ones that were coming across the border and getting what they thought was free help from the government. You had the so-called Negroes that were here that were hating on them, okay, for what they think they was getting something free that they weren't getting. And likewise, you had all of the Edomites that were here that were struggling, that were saying, hey, I'm not getting help. Why are these people who have not shown any type of competency to be a valuable asset to Great Babylon America, okay, is getting help and assistance that I have to work 2 or 3 jobs for? So you see that animosity. So this is why you see right now there's no compassion at all, really, other than people who are probably, the Lord has raised them up to go and, stand up beside the jail cells or these places that they have these people host right now, these camps or these what would they call these internment camps that they have these people right now. You see that demonstration going on right now where they arrested some congresswoman or whatever, cases like that, and that's another lesson to come. But these Edomites that are coming from South Africa are going to find themselves, okay, during this administration, where they're going to be blamed. People are watching right now. Tariff right now have got the food prices permanently increased, car prices permanently increased, because they don't know when the next tariff escalation is going to come. So they're going to keep the prices the same. Okay, so everything now has gone back up. Okay, and you can see that gradualism to make it to where anytime you can have a breathing room to say, you know what, I can save $1 or $2 like that, maybe relax. Suddenly your whatever you have managed to achieve is now go down below the level, because everything around you has gone up in price. So people are going to start to hate these Edomites that's coming from Africa, South Africa. And you know who's really going to hate them first? The Edomites here are going to hate them. Take a look at it, man. These Edomites are they're all homeless. And when you think of homeless people, the one that are on drugs and all that stuff, crank or whatever the hell they're on, they might not be aware of what's going on around them. But the people that are really going to be pissed and teed off is the ones that are losing their house because they can't pay their mortgage, their car. They can't pay the car notes, so they're getting a repo. They can't buy the food they used to, can't take a trip, can't afford a damn thing, and they're losing everything, but they're still coherent. Meaning what? They're not drug addicts. These are people who have education and all that stuff. They're in debt with student loans and the whole 9 worse, and credit card debt. This is the anger, okay? And what is this anger going to lead to, okay? When we go into the book of Psalms 90, let's go into we're going to talk about that a little later, okay? Okay, this is what this is going to lead to, because we're going to see where, this is enough. You've got Edomites already saying, why are these people here? They're not being persecuted. You're not having the Arabs come over here, the ones from Sudan, or those people that are coming from Jordan, or in the Middle East there, that is walking around with landmines and bombs, and people coming from a place of absolute horror. These people just coming because why? They're not living in doggone mansions anymore like how they did back in the early 1990s or in the 80s. Come on. So you can see right now there's a set of people that is kind of having like, okay, this is a victory for white people, but the majority of the so-called white people are going to realize real soon this is just another head game, okay? Because they're being ignored in the meantime here in Great Babylon, America. The damage has already been done in the first 90 days since Trump took the wicked seat out there in the White House. And so here's what's going to happen. This is 2 Ezra 15, Psalm 15, it reads, Psalm 14, Salakia, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people should stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. Now, you see many videos where these Edomites saying, well, if you blacks think you can come against us with your guns and all that stuff, we'll slaughter you and all that stuff. And that's another lesson to go into, because they really believe that they just somehow going to run over Jake. No, Jake is it's going to be the other way around in the beginning, but Jake eventually will lose. Okay? But that we'll talk about that another time. This is going to be you Edomites who are going to get up and go up against your government. This is you Edomites out there that are going to go up against each other, because what you're going to have is something called a class war. You're not going to be content, you poor Edomites sitting here struggling, about to lose your house and your job and everything you worked for the last 20, 30, 40 years, while some people come who might look like you. Who gives a shit? That's what you're thinking. Okay? And you're going to have the same setup and the same spirit that the Latinos and Hispanic in this country who've been here for generations had against the Latinos and Hispanic who came across here. Who do you think is making most of the arrests, okay, of the so-called Latinos and Hispanic who came across the border, as they call them, illegal? Most of your ICE agents are doggone Hispanic, believe it or not. That's what I'm seeing, okay? For there should be sedition amongst men and invade one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cost of their actions shall stand in power. They can call bullshit, man. Bullshit. But the Lord is going to keep all these Edomites blind. Keep all you Edomites, you so-called white people, blind long enough, and you Jakes that is have your head wrapped around tight in Great Babylon, America. You keep you all blind enough. Blind enough. You definitely are blind to this truth. You're never gonna be entered into the truth. You're part of the reject, the 2/3 that the Lord is going to destroy. But He's going to keep you in there in that spirit of hope that Babylon will recover until you realize it's not. And that's when all of you are going to get up and start just slashing each other up, going up against your government. Okay, in the meantime, here's what elect. Because we're in this spirit, O Lord, Yahweh Shai, power to whom vengeance belongeth. O power to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. Because we're angry. Oh, we wake up with an angry spirit. I know I do. Okay, but guess who vengeance belongs to? Yahweh Shai. He didn't give us the ability to defend ourselves against Esau when he comes at us. Now, could if a so-called white man come up to your face or try to hurt your family, can you defend your household? Absolutely, and each and every brother I know will. Oh yeah. Okay, that's gonna happen. You're gonna defend it. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render reward to the proud. Okay. Yeah, this is Yahweh Shai. How long shall the wicked triumph? And yeah, we know until Yahweh Shai feel like putting them down. Okay, yeah, we have that question I have, but we know, he said, how long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, Yahweh Shai, and afflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger, murder the fatherless. So we know this is now a war. Okay, and they're making it very obvious. You can see the proud look on these people's face when they go, oh, see, we're going to protect our own. We're going to protect our white people from those niggers down there in South Africa. We ain't got shit to do with it. What Chukamungu Bambumbu or whatever the hell their name is in South Africa has nothing to do, okay, with the so-called blacks, Native Americans, Latinos here. We are of a different tribe than them. We are Israelites. We are the Hebrew Israelite. We are Yasharah, prince of the power. And this world will come to know that. Okay? It has nothing to do with us. Okay? So the Lord makes those judgments the way He's going to make those judgments. We pray to Him to just make those judgments. So every one of these Edomites you see here, welcome in, and there's thousands more to come and all that stuff like that. I'm just bringing up this lesson because through the Spirit, this is what I know is going to happen. They're going to be persecuted, and they're going to find themselves in a FEMA camp. And these crackers over here in the Great Babylon, America, are going to hate them. How the hell you come over here? And then you think these Edomites over here give a shit because you a white person? You forgot the civil war that took place here in Great Babylon, America. Okay, and you got Civil War 2.0 coming soon. Okay, the Scripture tells you about that. Okay, Egyptians against Egyptians. That's going to be here in America. Then that's going to go global. Okay, yes, the Russians are Edomites. Let's go to the book of Mark 3, verse 23 reads, and he called them, this is a Mashiach speaking, unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? Okay, we always refer to the so-called white man as the devil. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Not everybody is looking to have these doggone South Africans come over here. Okay, when they're being ignored and neglected here in Great Babylon, America. Okay, it's very contradictory. All right, and they're seeing that. So the Lord is putting a spirit in this wicked, cruel Lord, Trump, to go bring those doggone Edomites from South Africa so they can get their doggone judgment here in Great Babylon, America. And they have no clue that's what they're here for. Them, side with the man, the woman, and the children. Their ass is here for judgment, not to prosper. And it says, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but he had an end. And that's what's coming here. An end is coming. Okay, so it's going to be beautiful to see, how things is going to turn out. Okay, you're going to keep watching this as watchmen and keep reporting to the sheeps. Okay, making sure the sheeps don't fall for the deceptive practices of this man, because this man, what? He plays head game. Okay, Lord willing, the elect was edified. I close by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Shalom.